Welcome to the Wrestling Replay. It's Kato, and I come to give you your SmackDown Replay of the Week, alright? The show kicks off with Roman Reigns making his way down to the ring, but in the middle of him saying what he has to say, to his surprise, he was interrupted by Drew McIntyre, alright? Drew's pretty much putting him on notice that, hey, last time we seen each other in the square circle, I was eliminating you from the Royal Rumble, and since you've been gone, I've been the man. That whole segment was quickly interrupted when Jay ran down and interjected himself and Roman Reigns and Drew stare down. A challenge was then drawn out for Drew to face Jay one-on-one tonight. Now, that didn't go over too well with Roman Reigns, as we seen backstage. Roman had to quickly let Jay know, look, I run the show, there is no we. I make the matches, you don't. So Jay should have never stuck in his nose in Roman's business, alright? Now, it's looking like that Jey Uso is really trying to prove himself and prove his loyalty to Roman Reigns. But the type of loyalty that Roman Reigns wants is not what Jay's giving. Roman wants the type of loyalty where, look, you do what I say, you listen, and that's it. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to see from you unless I call for you. That showed last week when he was trying to do an interview that was cut short by Paul Heyman to say, hey, Roman didn't sanction this. And that showed again tonight when Jay thought he was stepping up on behalf of Roman and the family by making a one-on-one match, and Roman Reigns just going crazy on him backstage, letting them know, look, you don't do that, I make the matches around here. For our next match, we had Sami Zayn versus Apollo Crews for the IC title. Now, Apollo finds himself in an Intercontinental title match with a chance to get revenge against Bobby Lashley, because as we know, the United States champion will take on the Intercontinental champion at Survivor Series. So this is a chance for him to get a little bit of revenge and also become the Intercontinental champion. He was off to a really good start. He was on a roll, man. He really had Sami against the ropes. Eventually, he ended up knocking Sami outside of the ring, where Sami had torn off the side of the apron because he was so frustrated. So it seemed. When Apollo made his way outside of the ring to confront Sami, try to get him back inside the ring, Sami ended up tying Apollo's foot inside the ringside apron and ended up winning with a count-out victory. So I guess we could say Sami outsmarted Crews and didn't really have to do any heavy lifting to retain his Intercontinental title. Speaking of champions, after that we had Sasha Banks, the Women's SmackDown champion, came out to put the locker room on notice saying, look, I'm the champ and I run this thing here. But once again, she found herself laid out at the hands of Carmella. So it's no doubt in my mind, we're definitely going to see Banks and Carmella lock it up sometime in the near future. I don't know if it's going to be at Survivor Series. Well, no, it won't be because she'll be facing Asuka. But definitely after Survivor Series, those two will probably be the next feud locked in for that SmackDown Women's Championship. And after that, I'm definitely looking for Bianca Belair to make her claim as another number one contender for that title. Next, we had Dolph going against a fired up Otis. Now, we had a segment where Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode was really just poking fun at Otis and how he had lost his friend and how he was all alone and lost his briefcase. That was a bad idea because Otis pretty much ran through Dolph Ziggler in no time. I mean, in minutes. For him to run through Dolph Ziggler, who's a former champion in his own right, it just shows that Otis is trying to gain momentum. I'm not sure if they're going to push him into that world title picture where he would have been if he would have kept the Money in the Bank, but they're definitely trying to get some good momentum behind Otis because he cleaned house with Dolph Ziggler, and the help from Robert Roode wasn't enough to save Dolph tonight. Now, he definitely have the personality for it, so I'm interested to see what the final product is after Otis complete his Alpha Academy run by Chad Gable. That's right, backstage he was approached by Chad Gable saying, look, you just need focus. You see what you could do by yourself. You can dominate when you're actually locked in and you're focused on doing what you have to do. My academy will help you get focused and get to that next level. So we could possibly be seeing a Chad Gable and Otis tag team in the future, or maybe Chad Gable in the manager role. So that's something to also keep your eye out on. And I think it's going to actually pretty much work for Otis. I think if Otis, had the right push behind him, even if it was a tag team situation, I think it still will be a good look. All right. We finally got to see the final chapter of Ray versus Seth Rollins in a no-hold match. All right. This is a feud that began months ago on Monday Night Raw. It kind of spilled over to SmackDown where both was drafted by the same brand. Now for a feud that I feel like lost steam a long time ago, we finally get that type of match that we was looking for, that we have liked to see maybe months ago on a Monday Night Raw or a pay-per-view to cap this feud off. This was the best I've seen both of them look in a long time. And this was the best I've seen both of these guys look in a while. And that's including Seth Rollins versus Murphy match that took place not too long ago. This match had those high and low moments where I really found myself invested in the match and wanting to know what was going to happen next. Like, who was going to take advantage, how, and what would be the outcome, what would actually sway the match to be over. And this is the feeling that you should have gotten a long time ago. This is the feeling you should have got months prior when you first had, Rollins and Rey Mysterio. These two guys are veterans. These two guys are more than capable of putting on great matches. So it's like you had the narrative there. Just why wasn't they producing like they should have on Monday Night Raw? Now you could see injuries to Rey Mysterio, which cost him some time in the ring. But nonetheless, this feud still went entirely too long. But this match right here was really good. This was a back and forth match the entire match, but the big moment in the match came when Murphy finally interjected himself. That's what we was waiting for. Would he stick by his Messiah's side? Would he choose to go with Rey and Aaliyah and the Mysterio family? That was all answered tonight when Murphy hit a running knee on Seth Rollins, which allowed Rey Mysterio to hit the 619 and a fall splash, paying tribute to the late great Eddie Guerrero for the win. With that win, we finally get to put this feud to rest. It's finally over. Thank you. But I will say this match was actually a really good match, and this is how I would love to see feuds capped off, especially with two guys of this caliber. Murphy finally received the approval from Rey and Dominic that he was so desperately looking for, but what's more important is that we will finally get the feud that we really want in Rollins versus Murphy. Natalya found herself yet again another opportunity to earn her way onto that SmackDown Survivor Series team, but she had to do it not in a triple threat, but in a fatal four-way match tonight against Tamina, Chelsea Green, and Liv Morgan. At the end of the day, it was Liv Morgan picking up a hard-fought victory after pinning Tamina. Now she will finally join Ruby Riott and Bianca Belair at the Survivor Series team. The women's team is finally starting to shape up and take place. And unlike Raw, this women's team seemed to be on the same page thus far, as well as their men's team. So right now, just for that factor, SmackDown appears to have a leg up on Raw. Now, we finally get the main event of the evening, the match you've been waiting for since SmackDown first started early in the night. That's Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. Now, Jey has continued to impress us week in and week out, defeating guys like Kevin Owens, defeating great in-ring technicians like Daniel Bryan, who are both two former champions in their own right, all right? But tonight, he will be going up against a powerhouse like Drew McIntyre, someone he has not seen the likes of since joining up with Roman Reigns and finally falling in line. Now, it's surprising that Drew even put himself in this situation because he has a title match Monday against Randy Orton. And if he wins this match, he will then get to go into Survivor Series and face Roman Reigns. Now, I know what everyone's thinking, like, there's no way we're going to have a title change, right before Survivor Series. But in actuality, their title change has actually taken place before Survivor Series, like weeks before Survivor Series in the past, multiple times, changing that main event that would happen. Now, if Drew did win this title, it would actually kind of make sense for you to get a heel like Roman Reigns and a Drew McIntyre, who's probably the #1 babyface right now in the WWE. Plus the fact that Randy Orton has so many targets on his back right now to worry about. He still has a Fiend that's lurking around, and he still has a Miz waiting to cash in that Money in the Bank, so it's easy for him to be distracted in his match, and you cannot afford to be distracted when you're facing a guy like Drew McIntyre. Now, Drew took control early in the match until Jey hit the middle rope, costing a low blow to Drew McIntyre. But Jey found it pretty hard to keep the big man down. It wasn't until Roman Reigns actually came out that cut Drew momentum off once again because, of course, that's where all his attention turned to. Now, Jey finally got the upper hand again, but it was quickly cut off by a Claymore kick that caused Jey to lose his first match since joining up with Roman Reigns. Now, week in and week out, we've seen Jey Uso destroy his opponents after the bell, making an example of his opponents. The message he got from Roman Reigns when Roman Reigns made his way down to the ring was, I don't care if you win. I want you to make him understand. Now, with Uso failing to not only win, but he also failed to make an example out of Drew McIntyre. Now, what will be the repercussions for Jey Uso next week when Roman Reigns finally get to see him face to face? That's going to be the interesting part. We have yet to see Uso lose a match nor make an example out of someone since joining with Roman Reigns. We've seen how intense and upset he got when Jay made the one-on-one match, so you can imagine how upset he will get after Jay pretty much let him and the family down. So it looks like either A, Jay will be in the doghouse for a while, or B, he's going to have to make a big example out of someone next week on SmackDown. Alright, that was your SmackDown replay of the week. I will put a full breakdown in the description down below, so you can just go and check that out also. Alright, now if you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button. Please hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. And once we hit 100 subscribers, we will begin our monthly giveaway. Alright. Now, I would also like to know what you guys think about the SmackDown show itself. Do you think Drew McIntyre will be able to beat Randy Orton on Monday Night Raw? Do you think that Jey Uso will have, dire consequences next week when he has to face Roman Reigns after he lost to Drew McIntyre tonight? And what do you think of this women's picture? Do you think Carmella will come and actually dethrone Sasha Banks? You know Sasha Banks isn't well known for having a long title run, especially without Bayley by her side. So could Carmella be our next WWE SmackDown Women's Champion? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, or hit me in the DM and I'll be sure to answer you guys back. Alright? I'm Kato. Peace.